Okay, everyone, welcome to day 9 of how to make money with your Scentsy business. Today, I want to talk about time blocking. So this might be something that you have never heard of before. It might be something you have heard of, but you haven't really looked into maybe doing for yourself. And I wanted to share with you that this is one of the reasons that I believe that I have had success with my Scentsy business and really in life in general, as far as just knowing what you're going to be doing. So oftentimes you see that people will have, they start on one thing and maybe you're this kind of person, you walk into the kitchen to grab a glass of water and then you see the dishes. So you start doing the dishes and then you notice that the floor needs to be done. And then and the next thing you know, it's 8 hours have gone by and you're like, I never drank my water. I didn't get what I wanted to get done because I got distracted. And so this is one of the ways that I keep myself from getting distracted is by time blocking. So for those of you who are new to the concept of time blocking, basically what it is you set a chunk of time to work on a specific task. So this is something that I have been doing for at this point many years. I do this in my regular life as well as with my Scentsy business. So for an example, every Monday I do laundry. Monday is my laundry day. I get one started before I start my work day. Before I even do my workout, the first thing I do is put in a load of laundry. And so Mondays are my laundry day. Wednesdays, for example, I call it Windex Wednesday, even though I don't use Windex, but I do windows and mirrors on Wednesdays, and I do floors on Thursdays. And so I just have this routine that I do the same thing all the time. And it helps me to stay on track, because if I see that the laundry is building up and it's Saturday, if I had time, I could throw one in. But instead of becoming overwhelmed by the pile that is coming, I know in my mind that I have set time to work on the laundry on Monday. And so it really takes out this stress out of my life where I'm always feeling like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do that. So the reason that I want to teach you about time blocking is that if you find that right now you're really quite overwhelmed with everything going on in life, that's okay, and that's totally normal. But I want to teach you a strategy that you might find works amazing for you. Now, other people might watch this video and you're like, no, it's not going to work for me. And that's totally fine. Being a business owner, as we have been talking about, it's making decisions for yourself. It's making decisions that are the best decision for your business, because your business is going to run differently than how I run my business. I'm just wanting to teach you this strategy because it has worked so well for me. And I really do believe that it is a big part of why I am successful with my Scentsy business. So to take you back to kind of when it first started, I joined Scentsy, it'll be almost 12 years ago now. And I was working 12, 14-hour days at a day job. And then I would come home and I would want to spend time with Jacqueline before she went to bed. We'd have dinner, put Jacqueline down, spend some time with Troy. And then I would work my Scentsy business. And so that became this routine. So I would go to work, come home, have dinner, spend time with Jacqueline, spend time with Troy, work on my Scentsy business. And that actually also shows you kind of my priorities as well, right? So I didn't walk in the door and immediately go into my Scentsy space to start working. I made intentional time to spend with my priorities before Scentsy. I hope that each person who is watching this realizes that Scentsy, although it can be something that is a catalyst to give you a life and a lifestyle that you want, it's still not going to be the priority in your life, okay? So you do have to take care of yourself and you have to take care of your loved ones before you get down to work. Okay, so that's kind of how it started. It was like kind of inadvertent. I didn't kind of set out saying, okay, my business hours are 9 o'clock, but that's what it ended up being. And so from 9 till 10, that's when I was working my Scentsy business. And so that was basically a time block between 9 and 10. That's what I did. And what that meant was if I came home from work and there was an order that had been delivered, for example, I didn't immediately dig into that order because I knew that between 9 and 10 is when I work my Scentsy business. So that day, if an order was delivered, then during my Scentsy time, that time block, that's when I was going to work on that order. Okay, so it really just creates this idea of being very intentional with what you're doing in your day. If you find that a lot of times you go to bed and you're like, what happened today? Then time blocking might be something that really helps you to focus in on what's important to you, as well as helps you stay on task. Okay, it's very easy to stay on task when you have time blocking. So in the printables section of today's video, I do have a time block schedule, and I just printed one off really quickly. Like, really, honestly, at this point in my life, I just know what I'm doing all the time. And so it's become so ingrained in me. It's so routine that I no longer need to rely on a schedule. But I wanted to give you an idea of what time blocking could look like for me. I just printed this off a minute ago and quickly put it in. Okay. So this time schedule, and I can't take credit for this. I did not create this one, but it starts at 5 a.m. Well, Jen is sleeping at 5 a.m. Okay. 6 a.m. I'm still sleeping. I usually get up during the school year at 6:20. But in the summertime, I don't. Today, I honestly, I slept in until 9. But on a normal day, and today is, I'm recording this on a Saturday. I normally don't work Saturdays, but I'm doing this today because my week was changed about. So that's why I'm doing this today. And it's a great reminder that while business hours are flexible, they're not optional. Okay, so if I don't do my Scentsy work, I'm not going to get my Scentsy pay. I mean, I'll still get paid, but it won't be the same quality of pay that I need in order to pay our bills. So I am working today, which I'm happy to do because I actually love my job. So anyways, you can see here between 7 and 8, I have filled in a color. So I've used a turquoisey green color, and I have in here workout, coffee, and quiet time. So every day is really the same for me all week. Okay, so this starts on Monday, and then the weekends, there's like a little line here that separates to a weekend. Okay, and then I have purple highlighted here, and then I have a lunch break, and then purple highlighted here. So that's what a typical day is going to look like during the school year, because when Jacqueline is at school, that is when I work my Scentsy business. Now, you might have a full-time job, and so your blocking will be in your full-time job. Okay, so mine is purple, of course, for Scentsy, and then I have orange in here, and that's family time. Okay, I did put dinner in there as well. And then again, family time down here. Family time for me also includes going to church. We don't go on Saturdays. I accidentally filled that in on Saturday. We only go on Sundays. And then we also have a small group with our church that we go to on Tuesday nights. So you can see very easily how I've color blocked this and I've time blocked it. So I know what I'm doing and when I am doing that. So whether most of your day is going to look like you at your day job, that's okay. But make sure you have your time for your family before your Scentsy time. Another little plan that I had come up with is a daily plan like this, and both of these are in the printables. So basically here you're going to put down what are your kind of top three priorities for the day, and then you can have your 5 and 5, which you guys have seen. Oh, where did mine go? Here it is. So that every day you should be working on this. And that's what you're filling in on the bottom of that. Okay, so just a couple of different formats that I uploaded there for you guys to be able to pull what you like best. You might come up with a completely different system, and that is okay too. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that when you know that you are going to be working on your Scentsy business, you know, from 7 to 7:30 in the evening, anything that comes up in the meantime, you don't work on Scentsy stuff unless it's during that time block. And it sounds restrictive to hear it for the first time, but when you get into the habit of this, it actually is so freeing, because when you are doing Scentsy, you're only doing Scentsy. So if you have children, that might mean that you put a little a red light, you know, you can have like create a little thing, red, yellow, and green lights. And if it's a red light, they cannot come into your office or your space or whatever you're doing, wherever you're working, your business, if that's in a closet or in the kitchen. If you have your little red light up, that's an indication to them, hey, please don't interrupt me during this time. If it's a green light, of course, that means you can talk to me anytime. And if it's a yellow light, it's like, please knock and ask if I have a moment or whatever. So you have to create a system that's going to work for you. But once your family gets into the habit of knowing that this is your work time, they will become less and less inclined to interrupt you during that time. And of course, you want to set yourself up for success. If you know that your kids are going to be asking you for a snack, you can have that prepared in advance. Okay, so that can be done between when they get home from school and dinner or whatever, whenever you're giving them a snack. If you already know that every day at this time they're going to ask me for a snack, or every day at this time I give them 30 minutes that they can watch a TV show, and in that 30 minutes that's when you're going to do your Scentsy business. So when you're doing your Scentsy work, if you see a sock on the floor, you cannot get up and move the sock. Okay, you have to become very diligent that that's not your time block right now. You have your cleanup time whenever that you have scheduled. Okay, so again, it sounds a little bit restrictive when you're first hearing about it, but I promise you, if you can give this a try for even 1 week, I think you will see that there is a huge impact that it has on how the quality of the work that you do gets done, whether that is cleaning or organizing your fridge. If you time block for that, and somebody sends you a message, you don't answer that message because that's not the time block that you're in. So I do time block all kinds of things. So I check messages at 9 o'clock. That's when I start my work day. I write down my numbers. I check my messages. I have that all blocked in, and then I can go out of all of those apps and I can focus on my next thing. So right now I'm working on this video. My family knows not to interrupt me. My notifications are off on my phone, all of those things, so that I can focus 100% of my time on doing the videos. Okay. So one thing I do want to mention, honestly cannot remember if I've mentioned this in a previous video, but if you get a lot of email, I want to encourage you to take time today to unsubscribe from all emails that are not relevant to your Scentsy business or your family. Okay, so if you are getting emails from, the grocery store letting you know what the sales are, maybe you do need to know that. That's not a good example. So maybe you're getting an email letting you know that shoes are on sale right now. Well, if you don't need shoes, you don't need to be reminded to go shopping. Okay. If you do need shoes, you're going to go shopping and you're going to buy them and you're going to look out for sales. So you don't need to have an email about that. You don't need to have an email about probably 50% at least of what is coming into your inbox right now. And the best way to know this is when you log into your email or you check on your phone and you instantly delete a whole bunch of messages, and you just click, 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 delete. Instead of doing click, 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 delete, you can actually unsubscribe, and it will actually free up your brain. The less clutter that you have to look at, the more calm your brain will be, and the more you can be intentional with these kind of time blocking. So if tomorrow you have blocked a 15-minute time block to do your emails, instead of just going click, 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 delete, I want you to unsubscribe. Okay, see how that feels. If you really feel like you can't unsubscribe, I'm going to challenge you to instead, you can create a folder, and you could call it flyers or whatever, and you can set a rule to have any emails that come in from that shoe company or whatever goes automatically into this flyers box. If you feel like you might miss out on something, which I promise you won't, but if you're worried about that, you can set up a rule in your email to move those into subfolders. But I really do encourage you to actually just unsubscribe. I worked this out at some point. I don't have the number in front of me right now, but I believe it saves you about 8 hours a year by unsubscribing instead of clicking and deleting. And 8 hours in a year, that's quite a substantial amount of time that you can be working your Scentsy business or being with your family or those kinds of things. So anyways, I'd love to hear your feedback. Have you tried time blocking before? Is this new to you? Is it something that you want to start trying now? Let me know, and I will be watching for those comments.